Good Wednesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain Accurate Weather, coming to you by way of the Captain Accurate Weather Command Center. Got a lot of interesting information that you probably haven't heard about today. Some interesting things about the weather that might not be related to Debbie that you want to know about, like ragweed season. It's really just beginning. And we're also talking about some smoke in the air. We'll cover all that. But I want to talk about the visibility this morning. We have a little bit of gray area here. This would cover the fog. A lot of folks who like to track the number of fogs in August. There's something magical, I guess. A lot of folks on the Farmer's Almanac like to study the number of fogs in the morning in August and compare that or contrast that with the number of snows you get the following winter. Who knows what you think or what I think about that, but that is what people do. So I just want to point out we have poor visibility in parts of the Smokies, down to 2 miles there in Oneida. But as far as the temperature, we're at 73 in Knoxville, 72 in Morristown. Current reading is 72 in Oak Ridge. And our friends in Crossville, by the way, Cumberland County goes back to school today. They're at 66 degrees, 66 in Oneida, and it's currently 70 in Sevierville as well as Pigeon Forge. Bigger question is, how sticky is it, and will it continue to be humid? The answer is yes. We have a dew point that's still around 70. Some of you are in the mid to upper 60s in the plateau, but anytime it's in the upper 60s to near 70, it feels very, very humid, so keep that in mind. A bad hair day, maybe a little bit of extra hairspray, it will be needed to get through the rest of this summer day. But as far as today is concerned, let's not beat around the bush. There it is, 95. Some of you will struggle to get to 94. Some of you may struggle to get to 93, and that's okay. I have us at 89 in Jamestown, so Fentress County might be one of the cooler numbers on this map. 90 in Crossville, looking for a high in Greenville of 90 degrees. By the way, this is a very significant day, because if you're a weather historian, which I'm not really, but I'd like to look back at some of the data, I can tell you this. Did you remember this 1 year ago today? What am I looking at? I look, oh, it's some downed trees. What's so special about that? Well, there was a sign there. It looks like 131 North is kind of pulled over. Maybe it's pointing upwards. What's going on here? I'm talking about a tornado that hit West Knox County on this day 1 year ago today. It's the anniversary of the Yarnell Road, Lovell Road, near Hardin Valley tornado. Now, this wasn't just an EF0. That would be remarkable. Or an EF1. That'd be astounding. But this was an EF2 and 130 miles an hour. And there was no tornado warning issued by the National Weather Service. It was so short-lived. It was like, boop, and it was gone. And sometimes, not always, but sometimes, when you have to rely on the whole volume scan that takes 3, 4, 5, 6 minutes, you miss out on some things. But the cool thing is the Captain Accurate Weather app with the twisting storm approaching alert did go off. I have a premium member, Michael Norman, who said it went off. He got the alert. Now, this happened right near Nick and Jay's, Providence Church, Lovell Crossing. I've got pictures. It happened at 2:17 in the afternoon, but with winds of 130 estimated. Roofs are torn off. Mobile homes are destroyed. Large trees are snapped. We got all those pictures. You say, oh, I don't see any roofs ripped up. There were people displaced 1 year ago today, and it's a very, very telling story because Barron, because I could have partnered with any weather company, I guess, if I really put my mind to it. But Barron, I knew they understood that tornadoes live down here. So if they got just enough intel, they're going to notify you. And that's why we always say have multiple sources. But in this regard, you're getting multiple sources on the same source. It's a perfect marriage of private and public sector. So you're getting all the National Weather Service alerts, plus you're getting the 3 extras from Barron. Why not get the information? Get more intel and more lightning detection, too. We have that as well. But this was a tragic situation that occurred. There's no doubt about that. And it was very scary for those that lived through it. So always have multiple sources. We talk about having a NOAA weather radio. That's important. Having the Captain Accurate Weather app, in my view, is world class. And sometimes you like to know what's going on. And so I just want to brag about also Pete Michaels. He's also on the app. But you get all of the National Weather Service alerts. That's the public sector. The private sector, Barron, of course, radar experts, they have the twisting storm approaching alert, and that, my friend, did go off 1 year ago today around 2:17, or if not before, just around that time when it took place. And it's free. You don't have to pay extra for it. And many of you who have smartphones like to have the intel. Let's get to the radar. Ultimate Doppler Radar presented by Marco's Pizza. I want to get to your comments here in a second, but I'm going to go back over the last couple of hours. Other than ground clutter, I haven't seen much, and we're all watching Debbie from a distance. Marcos.com, my sponsor for the Ultimate Doppler Radar. I have locations in Hardin Valley and Farragut. They're in Maryville, Fountain City, Halls Oak Ridge, Middlebrook Pike, as well as Ebenezer Road. And if you're hungry for a pepperoni pizza later this afternoon, or maybe you want to have some delivery, I love the Pizzoli, a great lunch item for less than $6. That's a sweet deal. Pepperoni and sausage, check out the Buffalo Chicken or the Chicken Bacon Ranch. They are all delicious. Marcos.com. Now, there's still some heat concerns across parts of Mississippi and Alabama, but of course the spin associated with Debbie, she's still a slow mover. That's where she is. I'm going to check in with your comments here. Some of you might be remembering where you were when that tornado hit. I was doing live on YouTube and Facebook like I am right now, and my power flickered. I'm in West Knox County, but as we point out here, Diane is noting, as she said, I can't live without my Captain Accurate weather. And it works all around the globe. You can get lightning all around the globe, and you can get typhoons and hurricanes anywhere on the surface of the earth. It's all on the app. By the way, Fred says good morning. He's got a weather update. Thank you, Diane, for that note. Fred says he's got 73 degrees. It's clear in Maryville, and it's humid, pointing out that it's humid. Marilyn wants to know about the wildfire smoke. Some of you might be wondering about that. She says, curious about the wildfire smoke. How much longer will it be in our area? We're going to examine all of that. I'm so glad that you're here, Marilyn, and others who might be watching. By the way, I'm coming back on camera. Got some notes as this continues to spin with Debbie. Debbie, by the way, has winds still 45 miles per hour around the core. It's just drifting east at 5 miles an hour. Some of you walk 5 miles an hour, I would guess. Well, certainly you bicycle probably faster than that, but this thing is just slowly moving, and that's why I talked about last week. Ugh, the username is Debbie. It's cute, password slow mover, but that's the recipe for a disastrous, catastrophic flooding, and that's what they're dealing with. They've had 5, 10, 15, 20. Some might have 25 inches, it is believed, in South Carolina, maximum, and 15 inches in southeast North Carolina, up to 15 inches. Amazing stuff. And it's currently located 65 miles south-southeast of Charleston, and it's 90 miles now east of Savannah. But I want to point out our high temperature yesterday was 92. We had normal high and low was 88, 69, but the record high today, 101 from 1935, back in the Dust Bowl era. And then the record low was 54 in 2004, which was really just 2 decades ago. 2004 was the record low this morning from 54 degrees. So amazing stuff, but this is the storm. We're going to talk more about Debbie here in a moment, so I hope you'll stay with me. Most of the showers you can see across the northern plain states are affecting South Dakota, a little bit in North Dakota, and still the spin that's associated with Debbie, a slow mover, but she still has a big mark yet to leave. She's going to leave a big mark across interior Pennsylvania and New York, as we'll see here in just a moment. If you've got a comment, I see a note from Darcy. She says, good morning. I want to say hi to Darcy. She's one of my premium members. 2 fogs so far here. What's your count? Have a great day. I think we've had now 6 days. 6 days at the airport. So it just depends. How do you count a foggy day? Does it have to be less than a mile? What about if it's really dense, like less than a quarter mile? Sometimes I have had some dense fog advisories this month. Union County comes to mind, Campbell County, for example, southeast Kentucky. So we'll have to wait and see how this all plays out, but I think Darcy is keeping an eye on the fog. By the way, the big picture, are we getting any clouds? And if we are, where are they coming from? They're coming from the north. Looks like they've dropped down from Lexington, Jackson, Kentucky, and just some wispy clouds as the sun did come up and will be coming up this very minute. It's 6:49. That happens to be the sunrise time. Now, the future smoke, I want to point this out from Marilyn Bell's question, how much longer? It's really not going to be as thick as maybe it's been the last day or so, because where you see gray is the lightest. And this is what we call vertically integrated. It's not like you're walking out of a burning house where the smoke's all at the surface. No, this is through the entire column of air. So it may make, some cases, it may make for beautiful sunrises and sunsets. But you can see from the arrows, a lot of this is being affected by what is Tropical Storm Debbie. As you zoom in a little bit tighter, you can see some of the gray areas. It's not absent from the atmosphere, but it's not as thick as it would be if it were yellow. And there's a lot more wildfire smoke near Omaha and Kansas City by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and you can see what is spinning out. Charlotte gets out of it all pretty quickly because of that easterly wind associated with Debbie. Debbie kind of works in like a swizzle stick. She comes in and pushes some of that smoke away, but you can see there's more trailing off in Omaha. Back north of Denver, south of Billings, there's more smoke to be found there. By the way, 90-degree days in Knoxville. We averaged 10 so far. We're up to 4 days, if I'm not mistaken, 10 days. We do get 4 typically in September, but there's no doubt about it. We're now 1 day shy of the yearly average. Why be average? This is going to be an above average year. I expect today will be day number 34, but we've had 4 days in August, 15 days in July, and 14 days so far in June. By the way, it's 6:50. My goal was to be done here in 10 minutes. I believe I can do it. I'll do my best. 2 1/3 inches of rain so far this month. We're running about 1.5 inches above normal because it's only 6 days in. Today's day 7. We're not going to have much rain today other than perhaps the Plateau and Smokies. I left a 20% chance, but it looks like it's going to be either well to our west of Knox County or well to the east in the parts of the Smokies. So if you have a chance of rain today, it's pretty slim, but we can show you what that might look like. Let's take you through the rest of today. This puts a little drop there around maybe Cookville, Crossville. There's some coloring there, but really not a whole lot until we get into tomorrow. I think Thursday, probably our best chance, that and Friday, I guess early, but a 30% chance of some of that rain. And even this track might be a little bit generous. To assume that you're going to get 3/4 of an inch in Greenville might be generous. I think a lot of it's going to be east of Boone, which would put you even further off this map. But even heading into the weekend, if you get 1/10 of an inch, there will be other opportunities this month, but I don't think Debbie is going to have much of a play here. I mentioned our high to yesterday was 92 degrees. We've had 4 days. Those orange areas would be above average. Anything the gray would be probably closer to average. So we're now 6 days in the book for the almanac there. Wind speed, not moving much. We mentioned there could be some fog to greet you this morning. And here are the numbers as we currently see them. 73 in Knoxville, McKee-Tyson, 69 Johnson City, 77 in Memphis. I got a note from Wanda Poe, talking about ragweed, I presume. She says the allergies with ragweed, bad, but with hope the fall is gone. She's hoping for football to bring in a little bit sooner. Go Vols. So very thankful to have the fact that we've got our Vols coming soon to the playing field. That big game, of course, the 31st of August against Chattanooga, the home opener. I want to say hello to many of you who might be watching for the first time. Thank you for joining us. We want to get through as many maps as I can. We've got 76 in Nashville. Dew points are at 69, so it does feel a lot hotter this morning if you happen to be traveling westward, because it feels like it's practically 80, 79 in Memphis. They're in Shelby County here at, well, I guess it's 6:53 our time, but they're 5:53. They're in Central Time. Humidity tracker keeps it very humid until we reach about Friday night, because I think we might see this green ooze finally ooze away as long as Debbie is on the East Coast, and she will be hugging the I-95 corridor. It's going to stay pretty humid, but there will be signs like St. Louis where it just disappears. And by the time we hit Friday night into Saturday morning, I think we're going to see a lot of this start to erode. And look at that. Oh, magically. Ooh, what time is that? Ooh, mark your time. Make sure everybody's up at 5:45 Saturday morning. You go, Aldrich, I'm sleeping in. But if you were to get up early on Saturday, you will say, man, it feels great. It suddenly feels magical because the humidity will have left the premises. Tracking the clouds, a few of those this morning. 6:53, sun came up just now 4 minutes ago, and sunsets at 8:34. I do have mainly Plateau and Smokies. You like that? I didn't want you to miss it. High temperatures will struggle to reach 95. If you only hit 93, that's okay. If you only hit 94, that's okay. Because the difference really, we hit 92 Knoxville, but Oak Ridge hit 94 yesterday. So there was a 2-degree difference between Anderson County, Oak Ridge, and Knoxville. It's sometimes how it goes. But 95 would feel like it's in the upper 90s to near 100. So that's how sticky it's going to be and how it plays out. But I want to say hello to you if you're in Cumberland County. I know you're back to school today. We've already had so many schools. I guess Roane County, Cocke County. We've also had Hamlin County went back last week. And, of course, Knox County starts tomorrow. So we have temperatures around 80 at 10. And by the time we hit 2 o'clock for pickup, at that time should be around 91 degrees for you. But many of us will reach about 94 in Oak Ridge and Maryville, 94 for Newport and Moorestown for a high temperature here on a Wednesday. By the way, Tropical Storm Debbie already covered the fact that she's just inching along. Notice the movement under the word Debbie. It says 5. 5 miles an hour. I'm telling you what, if you're on a bicycle, one of those, you know, at the gym, the ones that don't really move, you just move the pedals, you probably move fast at 5 miles an hour, much faster. But this has winds of 45. It's going to go back toward Myrtle Beach as we head into tonight, tomorrow morning. And Myrtle Beach might get hammered with winds around 50. So Myrtle Beach has the worst of it, perhaps, coming in overnight, heads toward Florence, then heads towards Greensboro. Notice Knoxville on the left doesn't get affected. That's why I think most of the rain's not going to reach Greenville. But then again, tropical depression moves up toward Pennsylvania, moves up toward upstate New York, Montreal, Quebec, and bye-bye she goes. And we go, man, that was an interesting story. I survived Debbie. Yeah, we never got hit by Debbie. Let's be clear. Sadly, the catastrophic flooding that has continued to affect the Southeast has been mainly in the Carolinas, and particularly South Carolina. But there could be another 3, 4, 5 inches of additional rain in these areas. And look at Knoxville, 0.07, not a whole lot. Interior Pennsylvania, New York, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches. That's about a month's worth. They're going to get about a month's worth of, man, what hit us? I thought Debbie was a southern thing. Well, she is now. But she's going to make herself a northern thing in short order. So make sure that if you have family in Pennsylvania, New York State, they are taking this seriously for flooding. And then eventually we could close in on 3 inches in Knoxville, but that's going to come in from something other than Debbie. That'll be a front that comes in from the west. And that takes us through the calendar of August 23rd. So really, this is an extended view of rain. It's got a long way to go, so we'll get more rain, but it's not going to be related per se from Debbie, outside of some spots of rain, maybe an isolated storm over the next couple of days. Well, as far as the hurricane season, I mentioned before, it ramps up. This usually catches people by surprise. Well, man, it's bad around Labor Day, man. If that's the case, history has shown us it ramps up usually by the 10th of September. And of course, Labor Day this year is September 2nd. It is 6:57. I know that Ernesto is the next name on the list. Francine and Gordon would follow if we rapidly fire up the names. But boy, I tell you what, that little area of interest they had at 30% yesterday is now down to 10%. So there's not a whole lot of chances of this becoming Ernesto, because it's hitting an impediment, which is the Yucatan Peninsula, may not actually have a chance to organize. Hot, hazy, humid today. Spotty storms, still watching Debbie from a distance, and a few storms will be possible Thursday and Friday. So thankful that you're here. Right now, as we approach 7 o'clock, it's 72 degrees. Winds out of the northeast at 3. It's sticky at 70. Here's my valley planner. I take note of the noontime temperature, because anytime it's at 84, 85, 86, you have a pretty good chance of hitting 90. But I did put the chance of rain pretty low at 20%. And I think it's mainly plateau and Smokies, but temperatures will feel like in the upper 90s to near 100. Chance of rain comes back Thursday, Friday, 30%. Nothing this weekend, and I got a 20% chance next Tuesday, if that helps. By the way, the Storm Prediction Center, clearly that tropical weather can yield severe weather, but there will be some hot spots in dark green near Denver, certainly around central Nebraska. Kansas, northern Kansas, could have isolated severe storms. We are colored light green. That means general thunderstorms, nothing of severe nature. But Wilmington, Jacksonville, Greenville, North Carolina, chance for some isolated severe storms. And really the cutoff for the rain opportunities by the lens of the Storm Prediction Center cuts it off between Crossville and Cookeville for possible thunderstorms today. Tomorrow it gets a little more aggressive for severe weather around Greenville, North Carolina, Jacksonville, maybe near Virginia Beach, but nothing going on here. In fact, they take the thunder out. Might just be some spots of rain for us. 30% chance of rain, maybe a rumble of thunder for Thursday. Friday's pretty much the same thing, although New York City, Philadelphia, D.C. could have some isolated severe storms on, say, Friday, but nothing going on here as far as convection. No thunder expected, but we will have some early rain, I think, possible. Now, the Futurecast shows this front weakening, and it's no wonder because Debbie's taking all the oxygen out of the room. It is 6:59. Watch where this storm system, the spinning top, that's Debbie, she's trying to move up toward South Carolina, which is why they're going to get much more rain. It's going to spin into the Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill area, up toward Roanoke, and so it goes. And if we get a little bit of byproduct shower here or two by Thursday, Friday, that wouldn't surprise me. But again, that's not going to be all that much, and it should be very short-lived. Heading into Saturday, it should be clear as a bell for the most part, and humidity on the decrease. So here's your forecast, finishing up here on time, and I want to check your comments too. 95, we'll be struggling to get to 95. Again, many of us will hit 93, 94. Triple H's, spotty storms, mainly plateau Smokies, winds 5 to 10 out of the northeast. Today, 93 for La Follette, Jacksboro, about 96, Kingston, Rockwood, about 94 for Maryville, Alcoa, and Seymour, and Sevierville, about 91 degrees today. Traveling today, very dangerous if you're heading down to southeast South Carolina. I want to be specific. If you're just going to Greenville, you'll be fine. But even still, I think the worst for Myrtle Beach will take place late tonight, early tomorrow morning, depending on how far southeast you're going. Tonight, we're looking for a low of 72, stuffy, sticky, scattered clouds, patches of fog. Winds can be light and variable, if not out of the north. Low temperature tonight, 72 in Knoxville, 70 in Newport. We should be in the upper 60s for our friends in Crossville, Jamestown, 69, and 67 for Oneida. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast. It is 7 o'clock, straight up, 95 today, but it's cooler tomorrow by 4 degrees, 91. Could we keep it cooler? Oh yeah, we'll be in the 80s, and guess what? It's a comfortable 80s. When you've got a low around 60 on Sunday morning, many of you in the Plateau and Smokies will wake up in the mid to upper 50s. Now you'll say, hot dog, mid to upper 50s, that's like autumn. So I suggest to you, I know school goes back for Knox County tomorrow, but if you're thinking about camping in the Smokies, this would be your weekend. Because once you drop down around Saturday night into Sunday morning, you wake up, it's refreshing. You feel like, this is what I live for. Because there won't be the humidity that you've been experiencing lately. It'll feel much better heading into the weekend. High temperature, 86 on Sunday, will feel like it's 86 degrees. I got some other comments I want to highlight and say hello to you. I see that, let's see, Wanda's on here. She's got another note. She says it will be so nice when you say the humidity is going to be good and not sticky. That would be about now going into this weekend. So here's me saying it again. By Saturday night, Sunday morning, that'll be the lowest point, I think. And even Friday night, Saturday morning, you'll notice the difference when you wake up this weekend. So hopefully everything will go just according to plan. Let's see here. I got another note. Let's see. I guess it's comments about earthquakes. Marilyn Bell is noting there was a 5.3 magnitude earthquake outside of Bakersfield, California. Yesterday, my friend said it was scary. I would imagine so. And one of the nice things about the Captain Accurate Weather app is that you can get earthquakes on there. All you have to do is toggle it on. It won't necessarily be on unless you choose it to be there, because it could clutter up the map with all the lightning, the alerts. There's other layers you can choose, but earthquakes, anything that's above, I believe, a 2 or 2.5, it'll typically show up on the app, and that might be, certainly you might want to check that out. By the way, if you want to join us on Premium, I have a service going on almost 2 years old now. It'll be 2 years as we approach Halloween. But Premium service is just the service you want if you're looking for something extra, because we like to focus on 2 weeks, 30 days into the future. So our focus is, in fact, beyond the next 7 days. Check it out. It's one of the great things about the Premium service. So you're the first to see every forecast. Sometimes that's 30 minutes. Sometimes that's an hour, hour and a half, or 2 hours before everybody else sees it on a weekend. More Facebook Lives, typically on a Sunday, to help you plan for the week ahead. That's 4 extras a month. You get fewer ads with Premium. It's only $4.99 a month. That's 16 cents a day. I think it's the best weather bargain in East Tennessee. Just ask my Premium members. Some of them have been with me now for that whole length of time, and they like it for some reason, so hopefully I'm doing something right. I'm also posting roughly 15 to 20 times a day, things that you might not see otherwise if you're not a Premium member. So if you like extra content, I'd encourage you to check us out. You can always cancel at any time. Well, my name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate. We'll see you here next time. Take care.